Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Jason Hunt here, inviting you to join us every Saturday morning for news, the week's headlines in science fiction, fantasy, horror, comic books, video games, plus Comic-Con updates and the weather, and the occasional interview along the way. We call it Good Morning Multiverse. We hope you join us every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, right here on Sci-Fi for Me TV.
The Madness Entertainment Group presents the Madness Comic Network with original programming and additional comic-related content. Tune in and subscribe to Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant on YouTube.
America's southern border has become a war zone. Human traffickers, drug smugglers, and terrorists flow across the Rio Grande with impunity, secure in the knowledge that no one will stop them. A distant federal government lectures Americans on their privilege while punishing overworked Border Patrol agents who were helpless to stem the tidal wave of invaders and determined migrants. Second-generation Cuban-American Marcos Zamora is a military vet, more patriotic than most Americans. No longer able to ignore the chaos at his doorstep, he acts. Joined by his best friend Gus, they hit the border every night, saving lives while stopping violent drug cartels and other opportunists. The government reacts with fury at Marcos' attempts to preserve American sovereignty, deploying the full might of their enforcement agencies. But Marcos understands that the only thing the rich and powerful fear is bad publicity, and he records every encounter. Whoever he is, this private American must be stopped. Illustrated by Richard Bonk and written by Eisner winner Mike Barron, Private American is his version of Captain America, and maybe a little Punisher, taking part in this ongoing, violent, and very real battle of good versus evil in the war for American sovereignty. Grab your copy at theprivateamerican.com.
We have a secure border and that is a priority for our administration.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
And we are live with the Open Topic Night. Welcome everybody to the channel. This is sort of a hodgepodge. We just talk about stuff that went on this week that's on our minds with comics and anime and animation. These guys will talk about wrestling. So when that happens, you'll see me doze off. It just
Oh, I'm always down to talk about wrestling.
but our the peanut gallery is in place and going clockwise. We got Mike Walters. Mike, how you doing tonight, man?
All right. Of course, I wanted to bring up something when we get started. I'll give the others a chance to do their little intros first. Also, had a very good last couple of weeks on the historical comic retrospect in terms of the voice acting. Is Diana did a real good job as Sheena. Little, not this past Friday, but the week before, and then Rick actually channeled the late Christopher Collins / Chris Latta in doing a villain from one of the stories we were reading. So channeling Christopher Collins, who, for those who may not know, the late Christopher Collins, aka Chris Latta, was the one who back in the 80s did the voices of Cobra Commander from the G.I. Joe series, as well as Starscream from the G1 Transformers series.
All right. Yeah, hit the historic comic retrospective every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern over on the mic stand. James, how you doing? What you got going on?
I am doing very well. Okay, first off, this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be at the Irving Convention Center as one of their guests for the horror convention they're going to have over there. They're going to have quite a few people. And what surprised me is the young lady that was originally Wednesday is actually going to make an appearance, which is kind of rare. So she'll be there.
The original
one. Which Wednesday? Like the original Addams Family?
Yeah, the original one from the TV series. She doesn't do very many appearances, but she's going to be there.
I know. Well, by now she's kind of up there in years, anyways, right?
Yep. So she's going to be there. So that'll be interesting to see. So I'll be there. Also, news on the Steins graphic novel. Okay, here's what's going on. December 1st, I'll be over on Joe's channel, who does Reaper Destroyer. We're going to be launching the sign-up page. For that, sign-up page is going to go live December 1st. Campaign will go live February 1st. Now, here's who's on board to help out with the Steins graphic novel. I have Joe from Reaper Destroyer. I got Shelby Robertson. I got Peter Gilmore. I got Dan Lawless, all helping out. So I got all of them on board. So we're going to have a great team. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to put out one heck of a book. So get ready for it because it's coming. And then, of course, since I haven't been on for a long time, I had some really good shopping. And speaking of Mr. Gilmore.
Oh, you mean the guy who drew my shirt?
Oh, no. I mean the guy who sent me this.
Wait a second now. That looks that's a Wolfman.
Yeah.
So that's Peter Gilmore.
Yeah, Peter Gilmore.
Yeah. That's the guy who drew my shirt.
Yep. So he's helping.
That's pretty awesome.
Jack the Ripper, Vampire Slayer. So he's helping out also. So I got all those guys on board. So Gabe El Tayyib's also on board. So
James, did you actually? I don't know if I heard it, but did you actually say the name of the actress who played Wednesday?
No, I did not. Because
Lisa Loring, I believe.
Yeah, I keep forgetting her name. So pardon me.
I just looked it up, so I didn't think we did. So I looked it up so we would know. Lisa Loring will be appearing with James Lee at the Irving.
Well, she's going to be a guest there. She's not actually going to be at my table, but she's going to be there. So
Well, you're
you're gonna
both
be at her
gonna be
table
there,
at
so
some
that was
point.
Gonna be
the
there,
point I
so-
was getting across.
They're gonna have quite a few people. So it's a big thing, and the community center is huge. It's a big place. They can get like 25,000 people in that building. So
Yeah, her
it's
career
awesome.
took some odd twists and turns throughout her life.
Yeah, she
as
did.
far as acting went.
And also going shopping. A friend of mine who I had to pull some screens got me this little gem, and this is extremely rare.
And
This-
that's rare
Is that
because
a
that is
manga
what?
cover right there?
This is Ruri Dragon issue 1, and they had to stop after this book came out. The creator got extremely ill and is still in the hospital. So there's nothing coming out of this book yet, but it sold 400,000 copies.
Is that a newer
That's low
book?
for a manga.
Yeah, it came out. It came out this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's not printed it's not printed in English. So I mean, they did it digitally, but they haven't released the English version here in the States yet. So, but that's a Japanese version. That's completely Japanese. And of course, we all know that Mark Silvestri has wrote out his thesis of Batman. If you haven't seen that, his artwork is fantastic. Book is like a classic 90s book. But I got the autographed from Mark.
The autographed black and white cover.
Yep. So I got that. So I have that one. And then of course from Critical Blast.
Uh-oh. Kozor.
And this is the autographed one. They autographed
Yeah,
they autographed it on the inside.
Cover.
So yeah.
It's such a cool cover.
Believe me, I know where they autographed it. Oh.
It's a great the thing is I was expecting the story to be this way, and I was like, because I've heard them talk about how they love Berserk and everything like that, so it is kind of like a Berserk book. So yeah, they did a real good job. I mean, artwork is fantastic, great job.
As in Berserk the manga?
Yeah. Now, because I'm going to the convention
all day long.
This is one of mine that nobody's seen before. This is Mina the Vampire. This is a new picture of her. So there she is.
Oh wow, that's very Wildstorm.
Mhm.
Actually, I'll take that back. That's very Aspen. Aspen
Either
Comics.
way, it looks sweet.
Yeah. So she'll be on display at the con. So I have her there and some other stuff. So
I dare say it's almost Extreme Studios though too. Like like the character Riptide.
I loved Riptide. I actually have some original artwork of Rob's. So
Tim, you're going to be on here tomorrow night all by yourself with Melvin.
Yes, sir.
Too. That's launched already. That's on the way out.
That's launched already. It's like it's met goal, which I set the goal really low at like 500. It's at 715. It's like what 285 away from 1,000. So that'd be kind of cool to hit that number. I've never hit that number before. I think
That will be cool. You got some good artwork in there. It's you made some vast improvements since the last one too. I mean, you can really see. the growth
Vic
of the artist.
does. I think he got like what 13 pages in there. Andy has like a page in there, and then the rest is done by Sid, who's doing the entire Melvin #3, which I just got the last page from Melvin #3 in today. So art wise, that book's done too.
That's cool that your next book is completely done and you haven't even finished crowdfunding the second one yet.
Yeah,
so.
well, I mean, I got a script too. The script's almost done for Melvin 3. It's just got to go through the editing process. It's got to be lettered, probably gray toned, and then get it formatted correctly. I'm also been kind of like slowly working on a website for my books.
oh yes,
Get that launched maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah, the Indiegogo shadow banning debacle.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of working on it before, but it's like, well, with this going on, it's kind of the perfect time to consider going forward with that idea.
We can talk about that because Indiegogo they're no longer shadow banning. This is an aggressive blackout.
Yeah, this is. They're really they went after Andy Smith. They've gone after John Malin. They've gone after Mandy Summers.
Yeah,
and there's some others they've gone.
Actually, I did report on the article you did on that, RJ. this past
Well,
week.
it's advanced since that point because the initial shadow banning was, hey, when I search for this title on Indiegogo,
Mhm.
it doesn't come up. But when I go there directly, it's there. That's your shadow ban. But now it's to the point. Well, it went to the point where if you searched on Google and said, "Hey, search Indiegogo for this title,"
It
nothing
wouldn't
came
show
up.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got it complete blocked.
Yeah, the next step on that one now is that if you have one of these campaigns and you send an update to your backers, they're not getting it.
Yeah.
So Indiegogo has aggressively shut everything down without having the balls to come out and say we're shutting you down. They've
The
gone
other-
completely
the thing
radio
about-
silent. They're in cowardice of this
It
whole.
happened. It happened
Yeah.
when the new CEO took over. They've got a new person in charge. Came in and bam, it hit.
Yeah.
So that's why. That's why if you noticed, Mandy Summers has gone to her own website now.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she's had stuff in comics for a while. So
She's but she's got it set up just like Ripperverse, where she can do her campaign off her website. So I'm really hesitant about Indiegogo. I'm going to talk to Mandy about doing something like that, possibly on her website or my website, where it's going to be on the website, and it's not going to have anything to do with Indiegogo, because it looks like we're going to have to pull away from Indiegogo. You know, I mean, it's bad that they would do this. I mean, they're going to be losing millions of dollars. They're going to be losing millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of the point I was making when I was reporting reporting on RJ's article. You know, even with just the shadow banning, why would you do that? If you're getting money, it's like saying, well, we don't want your money. It's like that's just totally stupid.
No,
there is a potential for why, and I'll tell you what I believe it is. There is somebody who has filed a lawsuit 3 months ago against Indiegogo for having been deplatformed, and he filed it on the basis of racism, because he was Hispanic. He's world's leading voice in Hispanic fiction.
I know what it is. Yeah.
So it's been 3 months. It's about good time for the legal department at Indiegogo to start cycling through this stuff and saying, hey, what is this? Who is this guy? Why is this happening? So it's not beyond the realm of possibility, and this is completely theorization now on my part, that to get out of the whole racism angle of it, Indiegogo is saying, oh no, we didn't do it because he's Hispanic. We did it because he's this hashtag Comicsgate. So look, we're banning all these Comicsgate books here because we don't like these people. It's a group. It's a hate group.
That's still a little bit of discrimination, though.
Before you continue there, I want to make some acknowledgments. Hello, Woody and Mr. Yanafui. Hi, guys.
Yo,
Sorry we didn't
Yanafui.
get you guys. I did see you in there. I just want to make sure they know that we appreciate them coming in.
The other thing about Indiegogo is they may be doing the same thing that Time Warner did when they got WCW, and they got when you know what I'm saying, when the Time Warner merger happened back in 2000, and they were like, oh, we don't care if it's our #1 program, it doesn't fit our business model, it's gone. And that may be also what's going on, because they have a new CEO, has new priorities and stuff, and maybe we need to get rid of all the comic books.
Well, yeah. This is going to be kind of.
I'm saying what they're doing. It could be either they're getting rid of everybody, or they're systematically removing people.
Because there are some hyper-violent books out there.
The AEW situation as well, with you a little later. Mr. Yanafu is asking did Indiegogo actually say something?
No, they've said nothing. They're
they have not responded to anybody's request or anything. They're not responding to anybody.
They did not respond through their media outlet for comment when I reached out to them saying, hey, this is what we're writing. You got 2 days. Let us know if you want to add anything to this. And they didn't. They have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, Indiegogo has been completely quiet. They're not responding to anybody or anything. So probably what's going to happen is that lawsuit's going to get them in court where they have to talk. And they're trying to cover up what they're doing.
Yeah, somebody sent me a link to a specific woman who likes to trash CG. I won't name her name, but I actually from that video actually came up with a new term. It's instead of investigates, it's investigates.
I think
know
we
the
know
one.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've
Well, when
seen
you
those
say
videos. Yeah.
yeah, when you say, well, you suck because you're CG and you CG because you suck. How does a person deny that they don't like Comicsgate? I saw that video the other day. I'm like, really? I mean, even if you had a point in some places, I mean, just saying
You
that
lose it
just
with
kind of
particular logic.
yeah.
But yeah, I would not put anything on Indiegogo right now.
No, I mean, and the thing about me is I've got other places to go, and I've got the money to pay for my book to be done without going into a crowdfund. But it'd make it easier to do crowdfund to put the
Well,
book.
this could also be an opportunity for Kickstarter because
No, Kickstarter is just as bad. Kickstarter
Kickstarter is bad.
is a whole lot worse because Kickstarter is politically motivated. They've actually said they were politically motivated.
Yeah, but they kind of, how every 7 years, every cell in your body's been replaced, and you're kind of a whole different person than you were then.
Yeah,
That's kind of happened to Indiegogo.
Yeah.
They've had all these people replaced.
the other thing about Kickstarter also is you got 30 days and that's it.
Yeah,
You don't get to go in demand or anything like that.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, I mean, now don't get me wrong.
Well, Kickstarter is not
Ryan
an
Polito has been making a killing on Kickstarter. I mean, he did almost he did right at $400,000.
Yeah.
In 30 days. So he's his stuff, but he's got that diehard fans from Chaos Comics. Even I buy from him and I buy from Jim Ballant. So it's he knows how to sell. He knows what he's doing. But if you're gonna get people involved, you're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to have, and I hate to say this, you're gonna have to have a website specifically for the independent comic books to go and to be there. And not only go.
Maybe it's time for somebody to come in and replace Indiegogo and Kickstarter with.
There is a new one
some
called
more competition.
Spooty or something.
I don't know that one. I do know Crowdfunder is out there. That's spelled without an E.
There's another
I've heard of Crowdfunder
because I saw Mandy's. That's what Mandy's piggybacking off of on hers.
Yeah,
it's Sporty or Spotty or something.
I mean, anybody's all they got to do is if one person just develops an open source platform that says, "Hey, here's the code. Do you want this module on your website?"
I think that's what they've done because look at Ripperverse's one. Ripperverse had one. Mandy's got one. So there may be a code or somebody's doing it. So, like I said, I'll talk to Mandy and find out what's going on and see if I can get my hands on what it is. If I do, I want to just put it on my website and say, "Hey, you want my books? Go to this website. We're doing a crowdfund. I'm going to launch it on multiple channels, do like that. And just that way it goes straight there. You know where it's going. You know what's going on. And, you know how to contact who's ever in charge. It's not, oh, Indiegogo, hey, can you help me out? And 6 months later, they're still like, oh, did you need help? I'm sorry it took us so long to get to you,
Well, and I know that Yanzi and some other people are putting together different sites. I mean, there's CG Now, which is an index of all the different sites. I think that the site that Yanzi's putting together is also going to be an index to your individual sites, not your. I guess it could be your in-demand page.
I'm not completely sure, but isn't Denalis doing something like this as well, or no?
Yeah, Denali's got his own webpage, Denalis.com, and he's just selling, the Immortal Mask right there directly. It's not even a crowdfunder. He just printed it. I mean, it exists. It's a thing.
Yeah, because I've been seeing the trailers on that. I just wasn't sure what that was all about.
Now, RJ, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
How is the relationship with England Spark going?
They're learning. Now, I mean, they
relationship
screwed up my hardcover print ups by not sending me the dust jackets with them. And they made up for that, but we'll see. I've got another order with them right now. People I know who've been doing color with them have been going back and forth trying to get the color quality right, and they finally did figure out how you have to place your order to get consistent color across the board. So that may be something that's been learned that now will be applied in the future.
Okay. Because
I have not yet seen a saddle stitch book from Ingram Spark.
Okay, because I have the account there with my books.
Right.
I was thinking about, since my novels are already over there, I might go with my graphic novel over there. But if you're still having problems, I may have to hold out and go someplace else.
I'll tell you, I've seen the books that were in progress, physically had them in my hand, looked at one page and then the other. I'm like, yeah, these colors are slightly different from the other. If I didn't have them to compare, I'd have been happy with either one of them.
Okay.
But with the creator wanting specifically those tones,
I
there was back and forth with them, and I think they've got it worked out. They know exactly how to fill out the order form for the book so that the color that gets sent in is the color you get off the printer.
Right. So
I was wondering if maybe now would be the time to bring up what we were talking about just before the show.
I was just going there. Yeah, good timing,
okay.
Mike.
All right, so you know how you guys know how they say things happen in threes, right?
Yep.
Okay.
They happen in more than threes. We just quit counting them.
Yeah, this time it happened.
Well, I mean, I'm just repeating some of what I'm saying just for the chat as well.
That's a good general rule, is that things happen in threes.
Yeah. Well, in a span of about a week, the Nite world lost three of its own. Two from the comics realm and one from the voice actors realm. As on November 3rd, English comic illustrator Kevin O'Neill, probably most famous for being the co-creator of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen with Mr. Alan Moore, passed away at the age of 69. 6 days later, on November the 9th, Carlos Pacheco, a Spanish comic penciler, who initially started out doing a lot of the Spanish stuff for Marvel, and then eventually did come onto the main titles. He passed away at the age of 60 after having announced that he had been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, known to most people as ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, back in September. And then the following day, on the 10th, Kevin Conroy, who had become synonymous as the voice of Batman from the 90s into the mid-2000s throughout much of the DCAU, passed away at the age of 66 after a battle with intestinal cancer. You guys want to add anything or remark on any memories or anything like that?
Well, we also lost the comedian Gallagher, passed away.
I saw that guy.
He actually passed away on the same day that Conway passed away.
10 years older.
Yeah.
I saw that guy at the Admiral Theater in Bremerton.
Well, he's fantastic. And now all watermelons can live in peace and not in fear of the Slow-O-Matic.
Yes.
He was kind of like a George Carlin with props, though, because some of his jokes really made you think about the situation thing.
Yeah, I know. Especially on the elbow walk, in the high heels and the cowboy boots.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I always liked that one. But no, on Kevin Conroy, I still remember, 92, Batman rolling out. The first episode was with Catwoman, which was because, first appearance of Selena Kyle was the first in Detective Comics, 27, and to see her in the first episode, Catwoman, and then you hear his voice, and his voice resonated the minute you heard it, all the way through up until now, because he was still doing stuff, I think, last year.
Yeah. Well, when I was looking over some of his credits, I know that I know he had been doing some of the video games in recent years. I know that, as I said, he was pretty much synonymous with the DCAU, and then in the late 2000s, of course, other actors would start portraying him. But I think they brought him back for
They brought him back
for the Day One movie, I think,
They brought him back.
Joke.
They brought him back for quite a few.
Yeah.
Even the Dark Apocalypse one they brought him back for. So he was still doing it. But yeah, it was tough, seeing him go. I am glad that he got a chance to actually portray Batman on the screen, not by his voice, but his whole, for him to actually do it. Thanks to the WB for letting him do that in the Crisis. I think he deserved it.
I saw a video where I think it was for like a fan that was going through something, and he did the Batman voice for that. It's like, oh, that is a class act right there. That's classy.
The boy with cancer. Yeah.
That is class. That's a class act right there.
He didn't have to.
There's a lot of videos going around right now of him doing, sittings and readings. The one that I saw was, and I don't know who it was he sat down with because it was another voice actor, but they were doing the lines for Jim Gordon and Batman at the end of The Dark Knight. Right after Harvey Dent's been killed, and the whole you'll have to hunt me, because it's what the people of Gotham deserve.
Yeah, that was tough to hear. I mean, they did such a good job. It's almost like when Mark Hamill was asked to do the lines of Heath Ledger at the con.
Yeah, but I saw that one. I didn't think. I think I kind of felt like Mark Hamill phoned it in, really.
Yeah, I mean, it was still pretty good, but
yeah,
with Conway, he really put his stuff in on it. I mean, he really, he went with it, and that's the thing I like about the voice actors who do it all the time compared to, we're gonna have a special Kevin Costner or somebody come in and do this voice. I was like, no, they're not voice actors. They're actors, and there's a difference between the two.
Right. Well, the voice actors, whether they're dub voice actors or like first run voice actors, they're a different breed altogether as compared to other actors. Because
I'm going to say something a little bit controversial about Mark Hamill. All his voices that he does for characters are pretty much a variation of the Joker voice.
Yeah.
Actually,
the Joker is a variation of the trickster.
With the Joker, the Hobgoblin, the main villain from Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce or whatever that show was, he kind of, for the most part, at least the voices the main voices he's done, have all been kind of like maniacal, psychotic villains.
Well,
yeah.
I'll also point out characters like Jim the Vampire and the character from the short-lived series Nightfall, which was about Night. He was an old curmudgeon Templar Knight. It was pretty much just a variation of the Joker voice.
Now, the thing
but if you go back and watch the original Flash from the 90s, when he made his guest appearances there, you'll find out that the Joker is just really the trickster voice that he did.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But the thing about it is, if you listen to him about how he got the role as the Joker, he just wanted to do a small villain that popped up like once a season or something. And he went in and read for it because the guy that was doing the voice of Hook from Peter Pan and the Pirates was on to do the Joker. And because the way he did the voice there, they took him as the Joker instead.
It worked, though. It worked.
It did work.
He's a fantastic Joker. Don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic Joker.
Well, and probably what also led him to getting the Hobgoblin voice for Spider-Man the Animated Series as well.
Yeah. But, here's the thing about Kevin Conroy is that he wasn't just the voice of Batman. He was the voice of Bruce Wayne. And, what I mean by that is, put on any episode of the animated series and close your eyes, and when the cowl is on and when the cowl is not.
Yeah, exactly. He could split.
Let's also be clear. He's the Bruce Wayne version of Batman because, remember, he also was in Batman Beyond as Bruce Wayne, whereas they brought in Will Friedle to voice Terry McGinnis, who was portraying Batman in that.
Yeah, but when he was Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond, he was still Batman. He was just old Kermit. He didn't give a shit anymore. I'm Batman all the time.
Yeah,
But
he didn't
in the animated series, it's like,
Well, they even said that in one of the episodes. They even said that in one of the episodes.
But
yeah, they did.
He had to split it in the episodes. You could tell when he was doing Bruce Wayne and when he was doing Batman.
His voice was just made for Batman.
Yeah, it was. He was Batman. He nailed that role. He really did.
Well, what else is going on, guys? Because you've hit both the topics that I wanted to talk about.
Well, let's talk about a little elephant in the room. Wakanda Forever is not going to hit its marks.
No.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say anything. I usually like to see a movie before. I like to see a movie.
But they had projected $243 million opening weekend. It's barely going to make $180. It's going to be $16 million.
That's not him. That's me.
Oh, I was going to say, what the? How did you do that?
I've been waiting to do that for somebody walking away on the show forever, and he finally gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I got a bad feeling about this movie. I got a feeling that it's going to have this big weekend and then it's going to die. Just like
well, I mean, they don't have Black Panther. They have all the other characters.
Well,
that's what I could tell.
There's some things they did in what I'm hearing from the movie that they shouldn't have done, in my opinion. And
our reviewer gave it a 5 out of 5.
Well, I mean, to me, the one thing that there's a running gag a friend of mine used was Ironheart is Marvel's version of Jet Jaguar.
Okay, I don't know who Jet Jaguar is.
You ever see Godzilla?
Yes.
I only know Jet Jaguar from the Mystery Science Theater.
Okay,
watching
Jet Jaguar. Okay, I will tell you the story of Jet Jaguar, and this is a really messed up story. So, back in the 70s, Godzilla's not doing too good. They're trying to make it good for kids, so they have a contest. Send us your favorite monster, whatever, to come in. And so, this 8-year-old sent this thing called Jet Jaguar in, this robot that could change sizes and everything. So they basically put him in the movie with Godzilla. And it's been a running gag ever since. And basically that's what they're saying Ironheart is Marvel's version of Jet Jaguar.
Yeah. Well,
hey Rick, I sent you the link earlier if you want to join us in here, join in on the conversation.
So yeah, that's what I'm getting here from. I was like, oh, wonderful.
Ironheart was basically, Ironheart follows Brian Michael Bendis around, and she changes her name depending on what title Brian Michael Bendis is writing at the time. She became Naomi, and she became Teen Lantern. It's just he's always going to have that character.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying in the movie, it's you have a teenager that's smarter than Tony Stark's. Makes her version of Iron Man.
Watch that at your discretion.
Not doesn't train or anything and can go fight better than Iron Man.
Oh yeah. Because she's smarter.
I've seen the pictures of the suit and it looks like something out of a bad anime.
I noticed, Tim. I noticed I don't know if I should mention because you put it in the private chat. But...
Oh yeah, watch it at your discretion. I don't know if you'll feel like you want to show it on the on air. It is that clip from Mystery Science Theater 3000 where they have they play the Jet Jaguar song and they have their own lyrics.
They actively look for streams to strike. So
let's not do that because Toho's real strict about what you can show.
But watch it at your own time. It is hilarious.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jet Jaguar. But they do redeem him in Godzilla Singularity because in that one, Jet Jaguar is fantastic.
Jet Jaguar, his mother never really loved him.
No,
speaking of Godzilla, the new title is out, Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah, and not only that, have you seen what they? Okay, I got to talk. Speaking of Godzilla, I got to talk about the video that came out. Okay. Toho has released an official video. This video was a fan-made video. It is amazingly good. And not only that, it was so good, Toho put it out as an official video. It's only about 30 I think 3 minutes or 4 minutes long. But it is Godzilla, and this is all this one person did. Okay, so it's Godzilla versus Gigan Rex. And it is unbelievably good. It is fantastic. So everybody's thinking that the new movie that's coming out next year, possibly we'll see a new Gigan come in. And Toho said they're bringing their movie out. So this movie's all Toho, 100%. It has nothing to do with the multiverse or the MonsterVerse.
The monster. Okay, so it's not the same. Well, so wait a second now. So that's a different Godzilla film than the one that's Kong and Godzilla.
Right. It's completely different.
Which is the MonsterVerse.
Right.
And that was inspired by a fan-made film.
Have you seen it, Tim?
No, not yet.
Oh, dude, it is so good. I was like, oh, yes. Please let this be.
Yeah, so it was inspired by a fan-made film, or a fan made this film, and
And
Toho
made this
loved it?
film, and Toho bought it.
Awesome.
Oh, so they didn't just make the trailer; they bought the whole film.
Yeah, but it's a short film. It's like, I want to say it's like 3 to 8 minutes long. It's not very long. So they actually, and they put it out as an official on their YouTube channel and on Twitter and everything. It is unbelievably good.
Have you guys ever seen that one movie with Nicolas Cage? And it was like a fan. It was some guy wrote it or made it or something.
Oh yeah, fan film.
Yeah, it was some kind of like amateur film, and he said, "I'll do it if you never change the script.
Yeah,
if you leave it as is." And I think that. Could you imagine like a big star like Nicolas Cage saying, "Hey, I'll do your movie, and you have to keep it the way it is, though."
Hey,
why would you change it?
Why would you change it if it's a good movie? Why would you change it?
Well, I mean, usually scripts go through rewrites, but somebody to say, "Hey, I'll do your movie, but just keep it the way it is."
I do not have the link for this short Godzilla film.
Hold
So
on. I'll get it. Okay, second.
Drop it to us. We'll share it out.
Hold on 1 second. I'll get it for you.
You're speaking of Toho looking for the flag videos. Brandon reviews cult films, does a running joke like that all the time. Even if it's like not a Toho film, they'll be like he'll put like big words on his screen that says "flagged by Toho" and this alarm that goes off.
Okay, I've got it.
Have you seen Brandon reviews cult films?
It's 6 minutes long, so just give me a second. I'll give you that link. Here you go.
I saw a video today that was a released copy of the Batgirl trailer, and it was clips from the Batgirl movie, but it had been edited because the two bad guys in it after Firefly were like gangsters, and she said, "Who are you guys?" And they said, "We're the Warner Brothers, and you're a tax write-off."
Tax write-off.
There you go, RJ. Here's the link.
I got it. I just threw it out in the chat there. Oh yeah, Gojira, the original. I had that on DVD, the double feature one where it was like, here's Gojira, and the other disc was Godzilla, which was the same film, but with all the Raymond Burr.
Yeah, you had the 50th anniversary.
Yeah,
Gojira black box.
Yep, that's what I got. And I say it's the same film. It's not the same film. It's a completely different story.
Well, honestly, though, when people say when people in America say Gojira, it's like people calling Optimus Prime over here Chief Convoy. It's like no, over here we call him Optimus Prime. If you don't be a douche and call him Chief Convoy. It's over here he's Optimus Prime. Deal with it.
Yeah. It's only got 3.3 million views.
Only 3.3 million? Oh, geez.
In 10 days.
Ms. Johnny Pooh says that Nicolas Cage can't turn down a role. He's cursed like Jim Carrey in the movie Liar, Liar. Please don't give me a bad movie. Please don't give me a bad movie. Here, take
the pen is blue. The pen is royal blue. And then he goes, the pin is red. The pin is royal blue.
Now, there is something I wanted to ask you, James. Something I've been wanting to ask you since we last saw each other, because this, of course, this is a little bit more on the wrestling side of things.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how much you follow AEW, if you follow it much at all or anything like that.
What you want to know?
I only
okay,
know
so-
one wrestler from AEW, and that's Danhausen.
All elite wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know when it first came out back in 2019, it was like a big deal because people were saying it was going to be like it was going to try to be the major competition to the WWE, and a lot of people, at that time, people were viewing Tony Khan as like the golden boy of wrestling because he was going to actually be challenging Vince McMahon.
Yeah. So
now, it would appear a lot of people have soured on Tony Khan, and a lot of people are not, particularly with the women's division in there. People have soured on him, particularly with how he's booked the women's division in particular. But a lot of people have been very critical of his booking style, in AEW. I just want to hear your thoughts on some of that.
Okay, here's what's going on with AEW. AEW did one thing really bad. They grew too fast, too quick, and they hired too many stars. That's the main problem they've got. They've got a encyclopedia this thick of wrestlers on their staff. Okay, and when basically Vince had his meltdown and let a whole lot of wrestlers go that he shouldn't let go, it was a open door, go back and forth. Who we're going to get, who we're going to do, what we're going to do. Because if you haven't noticed, since Vince has stepped away from WWE and Triple H has taken back, you've seen basically Anderson, Gallows, Logan, a whole bunch of people come back in to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mia Yim just came back after her contract was up with it.
I'm going to explain why. AEW is a major threat to WWE. It is a major threat to WWE. And right now there is and this isn't really AEW, this is more New Japan. Right now there is a big problem between WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it is Carl Anderson.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh, you don't do this in wrestling. You do not take somebody from one organization as a sitting champion and bring him to another organization with his belt.
Ooh.
Yeah, they got to lose their belt before they move to another
part
promotion,
wasn't the part I heard about. The part I heard about was
this is the part that's the real. This is the real problem everybody's got right now, because New Japan is thinking about suing WWE for breach of contracts. There's a list of things they can do. What I would suggest, and here's something that they've kept quiet also. Unless you pay attention to Japanese wrestling, WWE is opening the doors. And what do I mean by that? January 1st, Kenji Muda is going to be in Otakon. Guess who his opponent is?
I know I saw this. I know I saw that, but I can't remember off the top of my. Isn't it? I can't remember, but I know I kind of know what you're talking about because I think I did see that.
Yeah, it's Nakamura, who is a WWE superstar. Also, and then also you got going to show up later in a few weeks after that. Sting's going to show up. So Triple H is doing more and more communications with the Japanese wrestling organizations, especially Stardom and New Japan, because that's where you're seeing Io Shirai come out of, Asuka come out of. The girls.
Another news: Sting's still alive.
Yeah, he's still around. But you also have
63 years old, and he's still wrestling. Not every week, but
this is Muda's goodbye. So February he'll be retired. But they're opening the doors more to the Japanese market, especially the women's division. This is why AEW is doing the same thing. Now the problem with AEW is they've had a problem with stars going in, thinking it was one thing, finding out it's something different, and wanting out real quick. Case in point, Thunder Rosa. Case in point,
Thunder Rosa left?
Yeah, she left.
Wait. Thunder Rosa left AEW?
Yeah, she left a long time ago.
Damn.
I thought
didn't
she
know
was
that.
just out injured because they were saying that she had a legit back injury.
She had an injury, but she also wanted a release, so they gave her a release. She's gone.
Well, wait,
Oh,
how
what?
are they going to because the whole thing was they put the interim women's title on Tony Storm
Yeah,
because
they'll take care of that soon. But the problem that and then you have the debacle with CM Punk. CM Punk's out. He's gone. He's not coming back.
he's become a pariah.
He's gone. He's out.
I don't think there's no organization.
He's gone back. I'll tell you where he's at. He's doing commentator for MMA.
Yeah, I did see that.
He's out. He's gone. That little shoot thing he did that went way past the line. He should have never done that. And that's just him, stuff like that. So right now, the main focus for me is not AEW or WWE. I could care less what those two companies are doing. Right now, we're seeing, like in 2 weeks, you have the big crossover between Stardom and New Japan, since New Japan owns Stardom now. You're going to see the women and the men together wrestling and everything. So that's going to come in a couple weeks. And then they're going to be doing their tag team strong division to get the number one contender for the Tokyo Dome. So all that's going to go down this next 6 weeks. So it's going to be one heck of a ride on New Japan. So that's where my focus is going to be on. I mean,
on the AEW, I was just wondering what your take on it was, because I know a lot of people have been very critical of.
But like I said, on this notion, AEW's got growing pains. They're a new company. They've got growing pains. They make mistakes. They learn from them. They move on, and that's what they're going through. I mean, it happens all the time in wrestling. It depends on the booker. It depends on who's your people you got. So it's a whole lot of things.
Speaking of moving on, there's a story. I don't know if you saw this from NWA. So Nick Aldis apparently gave his notice and is now out of NWA. Did you hear about that?
He's probably going to go to Ring of Honor.
You think he's going to get signed with AEW and go to Ring of Honor?
Yeah, because he used to be a Ring of Honor world champion. And
that's an interesting. Well, Ring of Honor is owned by Tony Khan too.
Yes, but they're looking at breaking them apart. Yeah. So they've got to start putting that roster together.
You guys want to hear an interesting tidbit, a little fun fact?
What you got?
Guess which wrestler has actually a copy of Melvin #1?
Of which one?
Melvin #1 by Khan.
Tim's
Yeah.
Well,
Danhausen.
I know Danhausen's a big comic. I mean, I saw a video where he actually took CM Punk with him and supposedly made CM Punk buy him comic books.
Yeah. Well, I sent him a copy of Melvin #1. And he opened it up on his stream. Cool. I think there's a picture somewhere on my Twitter account.
Sweet.
Also, James, I don't know if you knew this, but Hard Times was last night.
Yeah, I heard about
it. Tyrus became the new NWA World Champion.
Well, I was expecting Tyrus to get the title, and you got to understand something. Tyrus is a big guy now. I mean, he's got a major and I'm going to say this too. He's got a major contract with Fox News.
Woody here has a question about CM Punk. Well,
yeah, what's up?
What little shoot thing did CM Punk do?
Oh God! Basically, he went off on the company. He went off on what was the wrestler's name? Cardona.
Yeah, this stems from the news conference after All Out, which was
this was a very bad. You don't talk about. I hate this guy. When he was out on luck, I gave him money, and then he backstabbed me. He did stuff. He was saying stuff like that. He
just went off on a whole bunch of people.
He told Khan. He went off on Khan right in front of everybody.
Elite. He just went off on a whole bunch.
And then when he got in the back, he got in a fight with Omega and the Bucks, and I mean it was a physical fight.
Mm-hmm.
He was so pissed.
That's part of the reason why. the main reason why he's a pariah. And
No, I mean he's not. You gotta understand something, okay? I have never liked Punk. I have never been a fan of his. I don't know why everybody likes him and whatnot. He is a troublemaker. He has caused trouble everywhere he goes. He's rotten, and I mean, I don't understand why you would.
Well, I think he's one of those type of guys who has that kind of strange type of charisma.
He might have it. But with me, I wouldn't hire him for nothing. I would have never hired him for WWE. I'd have never given him.
Didn't he have the same problem with WWE, and that's why he's not in that promotion anymore?
He had problems with them. He had problems with Ring of Honor. He had problems with.
Well, he left the WWE back in 2014 after the very infamous pipe bomb incident there.
Okay, the pipe bomb incident was green lighted by McMahon. He gave him permission to do it. Okay, I know that for a fact. It's just like the pipe bomb that Paul Lee did on McMahon for 20 minutes. Also, that was a straight up. McMahon said, "Do whatever you need to. We got to get heat." That's those both those pipe bombs were approved before they did them. I know those. I know that.
The pipe bomb that he dropped it all out wasn't approved.
No, the pipe bomb that he dropped it all out. That was right after the match. Nobody knew it was coming, and what he said should have never been said. That should have been kept quiet. If you got a problem with management, take it with management off air. Don't do it in the front of everybody after a pay-per-view. Especially
here's a question from a non-fan of this: was what he said true?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just saying, but there's certain things you don't do. You don't put your grievances out on camera right after a pay-per-view when they put the title belt on you to be the spokesperson of the company.
Yeah, I think wrestling. Sorry, I think wrestling has a weird kind of code or something, like whether it's back in the kayfabe days or they have like a certain way of doing things, I guess. From what I've read.
I'm going to explain exactly what a world champion is in wrestling. Okay, world champion in wrestling. Yes, he is the poster person for the company. He is the face of the company. That means he has to make all bookings. He has to make all appearances, all public relations appearances, everything. You have to promote the company. You are the one that's put out there. That's why they're paying him all the big bucks. You're the one who's supposed to bring people in and have seats. That's why Flair was the champion for so long. Was when he showed up at an arena, it was either you loved him or you hate him, but he sold the arena out. The wrestlers wanted Flair there because they got bigger paydays. That's the main reason why Flair could make anybody look good. That was his job, and that's why he was champion for so long. Same thing with Race. Same thing with Dusty Rhodes. Same thing with all of them. That's their job.
What about Hogan?
Hogan drew money.
Yeah, well, Hogan was also a ruthless business guy too.
Hogan was not considered one of the best in-ring guys.
It's not the in-ring thing. Hogan had the gimmick. He had probably the greatest gimmick ever in wrestling. Hogan is the biggest draw ever in wrestling. You can talk about Austin, you can talk about Rock, but Hogan was the biggest. The next biggest would probably be Flair, and then you got Austin and Rock. But now, as for champions, there's no champion that can beat Bruno Sammartino. There's no champion. You cannot.
Well, I mean, like.
No, I'm serious. Bruno Sammartino held the title for 7.5 years for WWF.
During the time that they had broke off from the NWA.
He was number two. He was number
3 to 71 there.
Yeah, but the thing about it is wherever he went, he sold out the building. He continually sold out the building.
I was going to go back to the whole Hogan thing. Like, when I was growing up, I didn't really know much about wrestling, but I knew who Hulk Hogan was.
Exactly. That's the whole.
Hogan had cross appeal. Okay, he just wasn't a pro wrestler.
No,
okay?
And you have to
he was 6'8", 300 pounds, full of muscle. He wasn't just a pro wrestler. He was a movie star. He was a cartoon star. he had this cross appeal.
But without Vince McMahon, he wouldn't have had it. Vince McMahon knew how to build a character. He knew how to promote a character. If you never watched it, when he did Andre the Giant, and you never saw this, he had Andre stand on a box when he was interviewing him to make him look taller than he actually was. If you didn't know that, during those interviews that McMahon does with Andre's standing on a box.
Well, isn't Andre 7'5" to begin with? Why would you want to make him that much taller?
To exaggerate.
Make him look even bigger. Yeah. You know the best part was for years he Vince would put himself as like a referee or
he was the interviewer. But
yeah, no one ever knew.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Well, Then started out in the 70s as an announcer interviewer. Nobody even remotely knew that he.
Everybody knew
part of the ownership structure.
Everybody knew that Vince was the son of Vince Sr.
I'm sure the fans didn't though.
Yeah, they did because everybody knew who Vince Sr. was. Everybody knew that he was the son. It's just like Gorilla Monsoon's son was a great referee for the WWE.
Joey Morella.
And everybody loved him. I mean, they did. And when Joey died young, it crushed everybody. I mean, when Joey died, I think he was like 41 or 42. And
I think he was even younger than that, actually. I think he was in his 30s.
He might have been in his 30s, but he was young. And when he died, it crushed everybody in that locker room because he was so beloved. And, and then when Gorilla died, that really just hit everybody. Because Gorilla was only in his 60s when he died. But
I'm sure. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tim.
I'm sure you guys have watched Dark Side of the Ring.
I haven't.
You need to watch that.
Which one?
Is there another series? I've only seen the one series.
Well, which one?
Joey Morella was 31 years old.
Yeah.
The first one I saw was the one with New Jack.
Oh, New Jack! Oh boy.
Yeah, a guy so awful that even WWE wouldn't pick him up.
Well, you don't have to worry about him anymore.
Oh no, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He passed away a few years ago, but
there's a bunch of things in wrestling.
I mean, I've heard of it, but it's like I just never got around to start watching them. So.
The thing about it is, and I'll explain my background. My dad was the pastor for the Funk Brothers back in the 70s. So I saw all the wrestlers backstage when I was a kid. I saw them all. I got to see them on a first-name basis. Because why? Sunday morning, everybody was in church. Everybody would show up for church, and then Sunday afternoon, we'd be down at Amarillo Sporting Ring watching wrestling. That's the way it went. So, Von Erichs, Koloff, Wahoo, Flair, Hacksaw, Hogan, they all showed up there.
Oh, so you know your stuff.
Yeah, I've been around it. Then you have to also understand from 97 to 01, I was working for New Japan Pro Wrestling as a graphics artist. So I knew what was going on over there. So, it's one of those things. I've been around wrestling for a long time. I've seen wrestlers. I've known wrestlers personally. So it's, like that. And like 2011 to 2015, I was the personal chaperone for the NWA World Champion. So, I traveled with the world champion, made sure he made his booking.
When were you doing that, James?
When Rob
what years were you the personal chaperone?
11 to 15, just before Corgan. I was chaperone all the way up till Corgan bought the company.
Okay, so 11 to 15. If I remember correctly, that would have been around the.
I started with Conway, Kojima.
Yeah, Rob Conway was.
Then Conway, then Tenzin, then Jack Stane,
and then Tim Storm.
Those are the ones I work with.
Yeah, and Tim Storm and Jack Stane are still with the NWA.
Yeah, I know both of them. Yeah, they're from around here. Yeah. And I know Tenzin very well. Tenzin and I are the same age. We got along great.
Yeah, he's 56, Tim Storm.
He
still looks pretty good for that age too.
Well, like I said with Tenzin, that's how I get to go to see Wrestle Kingdom every year. So I'll probably be going this year to go see Wrestle Kingdom since they opened up since Japan's opened back up. So I'll probably go over there January 4th. I'll be over there for that show.
I've never met a professional wrestler. I've met a lot of different celebrities in different
Neither have I.
industries just by virtue of what I do. But the closest, I guess, I walked past Booker T at NWA Con last year because he was a guest there. But I think the closest I came was there was a church down the street from where I lived. And like, once or twice a year, the marquee outside would say, hey, this Sunday, Ted DiBiase will be guest pastor because that's the line of business he got into.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting that the $1 Million Man was.
Did you know Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff became pastors?
Did not know that.
Yeah. Ivan, Nikita got he does a camp for troubled youth, and he's got Sting and Lex Luger helping him.
Well, I found something out just within the past week that kind of surprised me. I didn't even realize this until after somebody, until they were talking about him having a famous father or whatever. I didn't realize this until I looked into it a little bit. Jack Perry, Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Yeah, he's
Perry.
He's Luke Perry's son. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Because I was watching some stuff from Dynamite on YouTube there, and I heard them the way they were talking about Jack Perry. It's like he had this famous father, and then I looked into him, and he's Luke Perry's son. And then I look at his face, I realized, yeah, he does kind of look like.
You got to understand when he was running with Luchasaurus, and they were doing matches like that. Luke would come watch his son wrestle. The thing is when Luke passed away, Jungle Boy had to leave for a while because family matters and burying his dad and everything. So they gave him.
They're using that. They're kind of playing that into the angle between him and Luchasaurus now, and Christian Cage as well. They've been playing
you understand, and wrestling has always been trying to drive on kayfabe. It's always been like that. One of the greatest kayfabe of all time is that Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman. That's the greatest kayfabe of all time. That's the first kayfabe of all time. And
are you talking about where kayfabe kind of became real, or was made?
There's nothing real about it. There's nothing real about it. I know the whole story behind it. The stuff on Saturday Night on David Letterman, that was all Andy. Him and Jerry met there at 2:00 in the afternoon. I'll tell you the whole story. They got there because they were trying to get heat for their shows. Well, David Letterman wanted to have them come on, shake hands, make up. And Andy was like going, no, we can't do that because we're getting heat on this. If we do that here, it's going to end everything. We got to keep this going. And Jerry's like, well, I don't know what to do. He goes, I'll tell you what, on the second one, I'm going to go off script and I'm going to try to piss you off. And you just let me have one. And he was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And this is after, he's wearing a neck brace because he's saying that Jerry broke his neck because of the pile driver. So they go on and do the infamous part where, he pisses Jerry off and Jerry just slaps the crap out of him. David and everybody there didn't know what was happening. They had no clue. So it's just between Andy and Jerry. So they go to break and Jerry's like, oh, we're dead. We're not going to come back on the third stage. Well, no, they had Jerry come out on the third stage. Well, Andy comes out. Now, remember, this is back 70s and stuff. So Andy comes back out, starts dropping pipe bombs left and right on right there. And just, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue the stadium. F this, F that. He's just going berserk. So it ends, and then they go back to Tennessee to do the shows and everything, at Memphis and everything like that. They get a call from NBC, David's producer going like, you don't understand. You just saved our whole season. We just got renewed because everybody tuned in because their show was bombing. They were fixing to get canceled. And when Jerry and Kaufman did that, they just went superstardom. That made
it almost sounds like Letterman pulled a Wally George.
No, Letterman didn't know about it. That's the whole point. The people in the studio did not know that they were going to do it. The only people that knew was Jim Cornette, Andy Kaufman, and Jerry Lawler. That was it. Those 3 guys. And I got that information directly from Cornette. Andy Kaufman staged that whole thing.
Yeah, I want to go back to the Nick Aldis situation for a quick moment here, because I know you were saying that you think he'll probably end up going to Ring of Honor to help build their roster. What do you think about the situation with Mickie James? She's on her quote unquote last rodeo bit in Impact right now, where she's kind of trying to prove herself again and all that.
Well, I think this will be her last one. I think she's going to retire. And you have to understand, she's not young anymore. And
neither is Nick. I mean, they're both kind of late. Well, she's 42, 43, but
yeah, but Nick can go a little bit longer, because girls usually around their 40s, when it comes to athletic stuff, they start slowing down, and she's got little ones now. So I think she's gonna do her run, then she's gonna call it, and that's gonna be it. She may do stuff like Renee Young does. I mean, Renee, I always forget her last name, but where she just does interviews. Yeah, where she does interviews and everything like that. She can be home with the kids. She can, something with Marie Kanellis. She does the same thing. She does interviews. She talks about anything. She doesn't get in the ring.
Maria Kanellis is getting in the ring towards the end of her run on Impact. There, she actually got speared a couple of times.
I mean, I really liked her when her and Amber O'Neil were over New Japan Pro Wrestling, because those 2 girls, you could tell. I mean, they gelled so good together when they got involved, because they would come out with their husbands, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch them go at it. It was really, because they'd always interfere with the matches, and they'd chase each other around the ring. And finally, when they caught each other, they'd start beating up on each other. The referees.
And another kind of married couple situation, Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. There's rumors now that Chelsea Green's contract is up with Impact. There's talk that she might be going to the WWE. Matt Cardona, I know, still has some commitments with both Impact and NWA. You have any?
It doesn't matter on that, because you've got people jumping back and forth. It's a contract. They're married. They're still going. It's just, it's nothing. There's nothing big about, people being married and working in different companies. It's happened in the past. It's always going to happen. So, it's no big deal. It's not a big deal at all.
Like Mia Yim and Keith Lee as another example of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no big deal. I was happy to see Sarah Logan back. I know she was out because she did have a baby. She's with her husband, so.
Well, she had some. Yeah, her return got some controversy because.
No, that was a great return. That was a fantastic return.
But there was some criticism from a lot of fans because the look she decided to come with when she came back is actually being done by another wrestler. And a lot of people were thinking that she was ripping off Maxie Impaler.
Well, you have to understand something, okay? And this is about Ray Rowe and Sarah Logan. They are actual Vikings. Okay, they're real Vikings. They really are Vikings. Okay, they live the lifestyle, everything. They're modern day Vikings. They really are. So anything they do Viking wise, yeah, they can do, because you go look at what they do on their pastimes and where they're at. They're out in the woods. They're out doing this. They're out doing that. They live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
In their personal lives.
The point I was making was there were some people who were very critical of just the look. I'm not necessarily they thought that she may have just ripped off Maxie Impaler because Maxie Impaler pretty much has the same look.
Well, that's happened before. And it's just like with Sting and the musician Sting. One pays the other money to use it.
Or like the Patriot gimmick?
No, I'm talking about with the name Sting.
Huh.
You have the musician Sting, you have the wrestler Sting. And one of them owns the copyright to it and the trademark. So one has to pay the other one money to use it.
And it's J.R.R. Tolkien.
Close. Speaking of J.R.R. Tolkien, oh, I love this. I love this. Here's the big news. Warner Brothers still owns the majority of J.R.R. Tolkien and can still make movies. They still own all the rights to the books and everything. Amazon does not.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah. Oh
Wait a
yeah.
second. How did they get the green light to go ahead on this?
They bought some secondary material from the Tolkien family.
Oh, okay.
But because this show has done so bad, they fired all the writers.
Yes. Season 2, episode 1, Galadriel wakes up sprawled out in her sumptuous bed, says, Elrond, I had the craziest dream.
I wouldn't pass it on to them because they're talking about a complete reboot. I mean, I call it this: Amazon's D&D fan fiction Lord of the Rings wannabe. That's the way I call it. I watched it opening night. I watched because they put 2 episodes out. I watched the second. I got halfway through the second episode and said, "Nope, that's it. I'm done." Haven't watched any of it since. It was so bad. And then I went over to House of the Dragon and I was like, "Going, hey, this is actually pretty good."
Well, the creator is still alive to have input in production.
He's sitting there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he's sitting there.
It is.
Yeah, he's sitting there, and I was like, "Well, I know how this is going to end. I know what happens to everybody, but man, it's going to be a great ride to watch it all because I read the books. I know where.
Yeah. Well, if you watch Game of Thrones and this is a prequel, there's a certain element of suspense that's removed from it. Like, oh yeah, that guy's in Game of Thrones. He's not going to die.
No.
He's going to make it through this show.
You're sitting here going like, okay, I'm looking over at the book. It's the first book. I've read the first book. I know where they're at in this story. I'm like, okay, I know. I can't wait because I'm sitting here going like, I can't wait for them to do this. I can't wait for them to do this. Are they going to jump with her and make her older? Or are they going to wait till season 2 to do it? And no, they did it in season 1. She was a young, beautiful teenager girl who I thought was fantastic. She was just great. And then she went up to being now she's married with the kids and everything. So
will there be another red wedding that will make the fans who haven't read the books cry?
Oh, there's going to be some really good stuff coming up. I can guarantee you that. Season 2 is going to be a rock fest. After they already killed one of the dragons and one of the sons gets killed at the end of the first season. Did you see that little stunt in the air?
Nope.
Oh, that was fantastic. He's flying along the dragon. Another dragon comes in.
I've seen clips from it.
Clips the wing off the dragon. He's up. He's 2,000 feet up in the air. He goes flying. He goes falling. The dragon goes falling. Next thing you know, they find both of them dead.
Yeah, his chute didn't open.
What chute, man? The dragon didn't. But yeah, no. I mean, it's been a fantastic. It has been a fantastic season. I mean, yes, they did a race swap, which you knew Hollywood was going to do it. You knew they were going to do it. They picked it where it kind of didn't really matter. They picked a character where it really didn't matter that they did a race swap. And the actor they got, I'm going to give him credit too. He was good. He was a great actor. Hands off to him. I thought he did a great job. But yeah, it was fantastic. I was like, yes, this. And then here comes Disney with Werewolf by Night, 1 episode.
Yep. Special.
One shot. I was like, what the hell? And then I was like going, oh no.
I heard it was really good.
Oh no, it was great. The only thing that sucked was the werewolf. No, I'm like going, oh my God, you have millions of dollars and you did this to him? You put a lot of fur on him and you didn't change his face. I was like, what the hell? Now, I will say this. Man-Thing. Holy crud. Yes. Man-Thing shows up in it. Yep.
Which
I was like,
means
yes.
Howard the Duck isn't far away.
Howard the Duck. Oh, yes. Let's talk about Howard the Duck.
I mean, he's already been in Guardians of the Galaxy, so come on.
Yes, and they are talking about doing something with him. But all I can say is they better do it like the comic book and give him the hot babe to go with him.
Yeah, Beverly's got to be there, and she's got to get Nick.
Beverly's got to be there. Okay, we got to have Beverly because Beverly and Howard, and yes, he's got to have his cigar and his wine. Yep, he's got to because he had it in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you notice, he's sitting there with his wine and his cigar at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, and in Endgame he comes out of one of the portals with a gun.
Yep, he did.
He actually fought in the battle.
That was a multiversal epic. I
Yeah.
should have brought this up when you were showing off your purchases because I actually have. I made a purchase months ago. That's why I forgot about it, and I
Oh,
finally
what did you
got it
get?
in.
What did you get?
Okay, so Mike, you'll appreciate this. Um, let's pretend that Batman appeared in the comics in 1939. Why? Because after 20 years, Batman retired and they've decided to start using the comic books to tell the adventures of this legendary crime fighter who fought crime in Gotham City from 1919 to 1939.
Oh, you got it.
Oh
I
yeah, well, I
got it.
think you showed that before though.
Oh, you got it. No, somebody else
I
had
showed,
it.
yeah, I showed the website, I think, but
You
you know,
got it.
the pages inside here. This guy went all out. This is Killer Croc.
Yeah, you showed the pages, man. Oh, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
Some of the website, some of the pages that were on the website I showed, but I mean this thing.
Oh,
For crying out loud, this guy has got Batmite in here.
cool. Oh, speaking of comic books, let us talk about the MCU for a moment. Because okay, you know how Warner Brothers got chewed out for layoffs and everything.
Yes, I'm just looking up a couple more of these pictures here.
Okay, well, Disney has announced that they're going to do massive layoffs.
No,
Well,
not
we-
Disney.
Wait, Disney's going to be laying off a bunch
Oh,
of Marvel
oh,
people?
you have no idea. They are in the hole. They missed their numbers by over $1 billion.
But they'll make it up on Wakanda.
No. As NBC business analysts said, Chapek is delusional with his numbers. Quote, I'm quoting him in MSNBC. The liberals that talk about diversity and inclusion and we love all this stuff said that he needs to be fired immediately because the company's going to crash and burn. They need to rethink everything. I mean, everything has hit the fan. Everything has hit the fan of Disney, and it's hit Star Wars, it's hit Indiana Jones, it's hit Marvel. They are in trouble. They know it, and they don't care. And now their shareholders are getting antsy.
Billion here, billion there. Pretty soon, it's, you're talking about some real money.
Well, yeah, this is real money because especially when the stock goes down. Say I'm gonna explain something. I own stock in Warner Brothers, okay, and Warner Brothers stock has been going down. It has been going down. It's been going down, and I knew it was going to rebound, okay, and it has rebounded in the last. And I'm going to explain what I'm talking about, my money and so like that. Warner Brothers got down to $9 a share. Okay, that's really low for an entertainment company. Okay.
Yeah.
So of course, what do? I go buy more shares because it's at rock bottom. Only place it's going to go is up. Well, yesterday it went up $2.50. Okay.
It's $11.84 right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I can tell you I have over 1,000 shares. So if I had it at 9 and it went to 11, almost 12, you can guess I made almost $3,000 in one day.
Yep.
I'm a very happy person with what Warner Bros. Is doing. But I also sat in on their business quarterly meeting, so I know what he's doing. Now, here is the news for what Warner Brothers is doing. Warner Brothers has a master 8-year plan. They've already got it put together with Gunn. They are budgeting $22 billion each year to do this. It is going to be cohesive. What do I mean by cohesive? Not just the movies, but the series they have on the new HBO Discovery Max channel, which they're going to merge the channels. They're going to have stuff there. Everything's going to be intertwined. It's all going to be one universe. And it may involve DC Comics as well.
Of Cool.
Well, I did hear of another merging that was happening too. Cartoon, I guess.
No, that's already done.
Cartoon Network.
That's already done.
Oh, you heard about that?
No, it's already done. Well, yeah, I was at the business meeting. Yeah, Cartoon Network and I'll explain these mergers. Okay, when you have Cartoon Network Animated Studios and you have Warner Brothers Animated Studios, you've got two studios doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have two studios, two different buildings doing the same thing? Put them together, make one.
Right.
Okay, you got to do cuts anyway. You need to drop 20%. You cut back 20% with the staffing like that. You still have everything there under one roof, under one management team.
Right.
The problem is Cartoon Network Studios has been putting out garbage for the last 5 years. They haven't put out anything worth a darn. And so that's why they went in and did all this stuff. Same thing with HBO Max. When they got HBO Max, they had 3 different companies doing the same thing.
Yeah.
One thing. Why?
I remember that was being talked about in the article that I read about it.
That's stupid. You have one company to do one thing. That's it. You don't have 3. And the other thing they're doing is with Gunn and so like that, they've got their plan. They know what they're going to do, what they're going to push. And now that they're seeing what's going on with Warner Brothers, now that Disney put out theirs, and oh boy, is it bad. Oh boy, it's bad. DC right now is in a golden position to take over and dominate against the multiverse because the multiverse is fixing to implode. Number 1, the new Avengers movie with Kang will be led by Brie Larson in Captain Marvel. That's for sure. Number 2.
That's supposed to be the intro of the Fantastic Four.
I ain't bring that up yet. Now, they're going to bring in Rambeau. They're going to bring in Ms. Marvel. So it's going to be, we're going to have all the girl power stuff. Basically, they want to get rid of, they said that they're not going to have, what's his name, that's playing U.S. agent play Captain America. They're not going to do that. So there's not going to be Captain America in the new Avengers. So there's a whole bunch of stuff they're doing that's just complete ridiculous and stupid. It's just, and they're not playing off Wakanda. They're going to do this movie and probably that's it. They're really completely falling apart. All movies of Star Wars are canceled. They don't have any right now. The way they look at Star Wars property is
right back.
It's not a company. It's not a brand that they can put a big budget movie out with anymore. They've ruined it so bad. So Rogue Squadron's gone. Some other stuff's gone. They've had very bad numbers with Andor. Andor bombed. So right now, the only thing they got really working is Ahsoka and The Mandalorian. That's pretty much all they got for Star Wars. So it's really a mess at Warner Brothers.
I think they're just oversaturating the market. I mean, you're like, people love Star Wars. Let's throw out 5 different shows. People were used to getting like a movie every 2 years.
The problem,
kept the excitement kind of alive that way.
That was the whole problem. Was the movies were not good. They didn't bring new fans. They didn't bring anything in. Then the television series, they ran so many television series out there. And the television series were not that good. Mandalorian was good because of that one team that was involved in it, but the other series were bad. Obi-Wan was terrible. They specifically said the reason they didn't use Luke was they could not do Vader, Luke, and Obi-Wan because it would have given us too many white men as leads. So that's the way they went with Leia. That's exactly what they said.
It's so ridiculous.
It's totally. They've gone to this. Chapek is so Hollywood woke. It's not even funny. And now with the sales at the parks down because of they raised prices and cut back on all their amenities and stuff, they're going to have to. The shareholders. This is what's going to happen. The shareholders are going to let this run up until a certain point. He's probably got 2 more quarters to go. If he doesn't turn this around in 2 quarters, okay. In 2 quarters. That means we're talking July. He'll be out. They'll have a vote of no confidence and he'll be out. And when that happens, Disney will be going berserk. Not only that, but you also have the FX departments, studios. They've all quit on Marvel because of the way they were treated. They have all pulled out. Weta's pulled out. Everybody has told Marvel to stick it. They will. I mean, they right now, Disney and Marvel are trying to buy up FX Studios in California because the big studios have told them to go take a flying leap, and they're not going to do work for them anymore. So the big companies that did all the stuff for in-game are out. They left. They're done. So now Disney's got that problem too. Disney has walked into a firestorm that should be, that should have never happened. But they walked into it. They're going to suffer for it, and it's going to be, it's going to be over. Until they're going to hit rock bottom. And when Discovery came in on Warner Brothers, they knew what they were coming into. They had a game plan. They told the investors what they were going to do. They have proven what they're doing. Now, they did miss their mark on a couple of things, and that's why the stock played like it did. But the plans they've gotten playing look good, look ready. And like I said, probably next quarter, we're going to see some serious changes.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, when Warner Brothers started losing money, started making bad decisions, they were buyable by Discovery. Who can buy Disney?
The only one. Well, here's the problem with Disney. Disney has Fox and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
The problem with Disney, if Disney goes under, they'll have to break up, like MGM did. So when MGM went under, they were split. They were split by the movie productions would go over here. The library would go over here to two different companies. Now with Disney, if Disney goes under, what will happen is Fox will break off. Remember they got Fox and all those other companies. All those companies that they own will break off into independence or go someplace else. And Disney will end up by themselves, like they were in the 80s, doing cartoons and running their theme parks. And they'll be back at square one. That's the worst case scenario for Disney.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a bad thing, though. Spin off the things that are making money, let them run themselves.
Yeah, it wouldn't at all.
Marvel might be Marvel again.
Well, Marvel's a different story. Marvel's internally woke.
So what will happen is everything will just revert to where it was before the whole Disney started buying up all these companies. Yeah.
Well, and probably like Fox. If Warner Brothers and Discovery pull off what they're going to pull off, and because you have to understand when they bought Warner Brothers, they took $55 billion in debt. Discovery didn't have any debt. They took it all from Warner Brothers. That's why they got Warner Brothers for so cheap. They agreed to take the debt. They didn't pay that much. They didn't pay that much for Warner Brothers.
But they knew how to get rid of the debt.
Exactly. They've already cut 10% of it already in 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, they know how to manage things. They know how to budget things. And that's what everybody's getting ticked off about, is because they don't have the blank checks no more. Also, people have to show up for work now. They can't work at home.
Like Twitter.
They couldn't. Yeah, exactly like Twitter. Yeah, they have to show up for work.
Now that's a funny story altogether. The fact that one guy buys the company and all these people quit, and now they don't have a job anymore.
No, you don't understand. Twitter is a complete cluster disaster, and Elon Musk knew it when he went in. And when Elon Musk got it, all the doors came off. All the little locked closets were open. Everything was like that, and now everybody could see just how corrupt it was.
And now anybody, if you pay a fee, can have a blue check mark.
You could have had it back then. The reason the blue check marks got mad was they were paying $15,000 for the blue check marks.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Now you got a blue check mark that said Eli Lilly and Co. that put out a tweet that said, "Hey, insulin's free," and the real Eli Lilly and ancillary, pharma companies took like a couple of $1 billion hit in their stock.
Yep, I know. I saw it. I was like, oh yeah, this is cute.
Oh, well, speaking of Twitter and Twitter controversy, what do you guys think of the whole Elon Musk versus Kathy Griffin thing?
Oh, she deserves what she got.
Yep.
She deserves it.
She's not a smart person. This is a person who walks around with a fake head of Donald Trump and with a knife. I thought that was a funny thing to do.
Yeah, I don't worry about. I don't even worry about her. Don't. I mean, she's not even.
Well, she sat there and did try ban. I don't know if she got kicked off again, but she tried ban evasion by actually using her dead mother's account.
She's off. She's not on it. She's banned. She's gone.
No, she came back with her mom's account.
Yeah, but no, they caught her.
They caught that one too. I mean,
Yeah.
she came out and said it was.
Yeah.
Elon said she's welcome back, just has to pay $8.
Yeah. The thing about it is all the woke people and stuff like this. We're gonna run away. We're gonna run away. I was like, yeah, where are you gonna go? You can't go to Parlor. You can't go to Vines. You can't go to Truth. Where are you gonna go? You trashed every place else you could go. Where are you gonna go?
Also the thing is that
They can always go back to MySpace.
when they say, "Oh, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there," or whatever, I wouldn't put much stock into that because I don't know if you guys remember, and I made this point recently, but when Trump was elected back in 2016, all those same woke celebrities all said, "Well, we're going to move to Canada. We're going to leave the United States. And they didn't. So I wouldn't put much stock in anything they said in regards to that.
Well, the thing about it is, this is when Whoopi Goldberg said theirs. I actually tweeted. I said, I'll give her 30 days because you can deactivate your account, come back within 30 days, and your account's still active. After 30 days, your account goes bye-bye. So I said 30 days.
Eric Larson.
See what happens. And they'll all be back. They're all going to be back. And there was some that will go, oh, I'm going to be brave and stay here. I was like, well, it's your right. Stay here. Don't worry about it. That's like everybody was treating. Democracy won the election. I was like, no, Joe, it's the same thing we do every 2 years. It doesn't matter which side wins. Just because one side wins and one side loses doesn't mean the whole world comes to an end.
Yep. The fact that we had an election meant democracy won. It was a pre-win.
This is what I've been trying to explain to everybody. And this is going to go a little history thing because this is going to shock everybody. The United States is not a democracy. It never has been.
Democratic
it's a republic.
It's a representative republic.
It is a republic that uses elements of democracy in it. A republic is not the thing because if you want to go direct democracy, you get a majority of the people in the entire country to vote on one thing, and it happens. There's no representation. That means, and I'm going to use this as a really bad thing. If you got the majority of Americans to get up saying, well, if you're this type of person, you're banned from the United States, and the majority voted of it, if you're that kind of person, you're out of the country. You have no say. You have no recourse to come back on it. That's a direct democracy.
Yeah. The United States is technically what they call a representative republic, which basically means you vote for who you believe represents your values and what you want government to do.
Yeah, that's right. That's why you have a House of Representatives.
The problem with especially when you have as many people as we do here in the United States, the problem with, imagine this for a moment. Imagine this.
I just said
Imagine getting called in and spending hours having to vote on every single thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Instead of having a representative vote for you, you're actually sitting there in line voting.
Now, if you want to fix the mess that we've got right now, and you want to really mess everything up, here's how you do it. The Senate. Every American that is over the age of 25 is put in a hat. Everybody from each state is in each hat. 2 names are drawn. Whoever those 2 names are must serve 6 years.
Jury duty.
Exactly, but it's 6 years. And you get a specific salary, and your job that you're working at will hold your job for 6 years. Once those 6 years are up, you go back to being normal unless you get picked again.
Which would be unlikely.
Yeah, unlikely. But same thing with House of Representatives. You do it like that, I guarantee you, nobody would want to do it. I guarantee you, nobody would try to go after those positions. You want to know why? Because there's no money in it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand. Right now, every person that's in the House of Representatives and every person that's in Congress is now over a millionaire. They're making $300,000 a year, not including their endorsements and signages and anything else they get from their donors. Okay, it's the biggest Ponzi scheme you've ever seen. Anytime you hear somebody talk about we're going to tax the rich, pay attention to them now. They're not saying we're going to tax millionaires. They're saying they were going to tax billionaires. Why? Because they're all millionaires. They're not going to tax each other.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to see, how Gen Z votes next time around, and especially if the election is held right after they just sent in all their latest installment on their student loan, because that was supposed to go away. That's why they voted the way they did.
Yeah,
Oops,
you know what happened?
Just kidding.
You know what happened on the student loan thing?
Supreme Court said, yeah, you can't do that.
Federal judges came in and said, no, you don't have the authorization to do that. Can't do it.
You can't.
And that's why you have a lot of the leftist woke people who are crying about the Supreme Court again. Because
here's the other thing. You know how many times Biden's personal presidential orders have been nullified by the courts because they're unconstitutional? He's tried so many things you wouldn't believe.
Well, they've been trying a number of things. They've been trying a number of things to get us to a more socialist. I mean, they're doing everything and anything to keep Trump from running.
It's not socialism. This is pure dictatorship. Okay, when you come out and you say that half of the United States who didn't vote for you are now terrorists, that's dictatorship. That's not socialism. That's pure dictatorship. The problem is you've got a guy in there that is showing signs of dementia. Okay, he does. I've been around it. I was around it for 12 years. I'll testify it in court that he's got it. The problem is when you take him out, you put Harris in there. And
no one likes
you got
her.
a problem now, wait till you put her in there. And if you take Harris out, you've got Pelosi.
Do we get Pelosi? Because
no, hold on. Right now, you got to remember, nothing changes till January.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
Okay, so right now, if it happened right now, Pelosi's number 3. She automatically goes to VP.
Wait,
have you been paying attention to?
I actually looked this up a bit, but granted, the material was a little older. Because I was wondering about that.
President.
What would happen if Harris did advance? Then who? From what I read, according in the Constitution, I think it's in Part 2 of whatever the amendment.
The leader of the House of Representatives is number 3. She goes to number 2.
No, wait a second. No, it doesn't go like that. It's not like everybody moves up a spot. Harris would go to president, but then she gets to pick her vice president because that's
right.
Happened
That's
with,
what I was just about
Ford.
to talk about. Because I think when the amendment, because I looked that up, the amendment in terms of presidential succession, when there is a vacancy in vice president, then whoever becomes the president gets to basically nominate their vice president. They have to be approved. They have to be confirmed.
Yeah, it's only happened twice that the VP had to be replaced.
Yeah, but I mean, if it was everybody moved up, you'd end up with the possibility of a president and a vice president of opposing parties.
That used to happen.
Yeah, when we voted them separately.
That's right. But here's the thing. When you go back and look, when Agnew, VP, got removed, who took over? Ford. What was Ford's position? Ford's position was Speaker of the House. Then, when Nixon retired and went out, Ford went on to take over the presidency. Ford is the only person to ever hold the White House without being elected vice president or president.
Because he just did the 3 years and then just decided not to run again in 1976.
No, he did run again. He ran against Carter and lost.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, Ford lost against Carter, and then we had the complete debacle of the what we're basically what's going on right now is what we had under Carter. It's the exact same stuff, the exact same thing.
What was that, James?
What is going on right now is the same thing that happened with Carter.
The great malaise
With
is upon
Harding?
us.
With
I'm
Harding?
talking about the gas. I'm talking about
Carter.
the Middle East. I'm talking about Russia. I'm talking about China. It's the same thing, different verse.
Yep. Oh, get out and vote, people. Oh, wait, too late.
Well, I mean, you know.
Well, they just called the Nevada vote over the weekend, so the Democrats have unfortunately retained control of the Senate. It just now is a matter of it going to be a soft control or a hard control.
It's not a hard control. It can't be a hard control. Okay, it's
Well,
50.
what I mean by a soft control is with 50, they only control it because Harris can break the tie. What I mean by hard control or more solid control is if they got the 51. But
Okay, here's a hard control. Hard control is 60. That's a hard control because at 60 you can pass anything that you want without the filibuster.
So, how much did the GOP get, and how much did the Democrats get?
Right now, the GOP is at 49, and the Democrats are at 50. But because the vice president,
49, you're counting Alaska in there?
because you have the vice president is a Democrat, she will fall in with the Democrats. So that gives them 51. So they're in charge of the Senate. Now, right now, the House of Representatives, the Republicans are up by about 8 seats. They only need 6, I believe, to take the House.
Actually, I think it was 7 when I saw it. But
well, the thing about it is, if the Republicans take the House, that'll stop a lot.
Yeah, the Senate doesn't create anything. They sign the stuff that the House sends up.
No, the Senate can create stuff.
They do appropriations bills.
Well, no, they can do other things too, but they got to send it to the House also. They got to go back and forth.
Yeah, both of them got to do it. So as long as there's gridlock is the best thing that can happen to this country.
Right now, yes. Yeah, because you don't want until we've had 2 years where the Democrats controlled both houses.
actually, well,
Yeah, they did. They controlled the House and they controlled the Senate for the last 2 years.
Yep.
They controlled both.
okay.
And look what the mess we've got.
Now, Arizona, I don't understand. I mean, how in the world can the person running for the office be the person who oversees the election?
Dude, I don't even want to think about Arizona. But this is what's going on with Arizona and Nevada. Half the people that lived in California got up and moved to those states, and there's two.
Oh, what up, George?
They're too nuts to go, hey, you know what? We're going to do this.
Yeah, RJ, I shared this because I wanted to show you guys.
Yahoo's
correct.
No, it's 49. Republicans got 49, not 48.
Well, yeah. You're probably thinking Alaska, right?
No, Nevada's red. That's wrong. This map's old.
Yeah, Nevada went red.
That's why it's 49.
Oh, Nevada went red for reals?
Yeah.
Oh,
this map's old. This map's like a week old.
Yeah, this map's old. Yeah,
Well, a few days old. It's not like.
Yeah, they need to update that then.
But and that's just things. That's what's going on. So politics is politics. Every 2 years we get to vote. Every 4 years we get to vote the president out. So it's just one of those things. So this notion of this is going to be the most important voting of the year. No, it's not. We do it every.
They say that every election.
I know. I hear it every time, and I'm like going, shut up. It's like, if you don't vote for this, it's going to be in a democracy. No, our democracy's been around like this forever.
Okay, where did you guys?
I love that. I'm in a
Nevada's
comic book.
red because they've been talking the last couple of days that they called it for the Democrats.
No. They are all spouting the same BS. They're saying projected in their sentences.
Right.
So they are 100% full of it.
Yeah. Always. What's new?
Yeah. Dr. Oz should have contested the election. The guy,
Dr. Oz.
The guy in New York should have done the same.
Okay. Here's the thing. Right now, in the House, the Democrats are at 204. The Republicans are at 212. The Republicans only need 6 to control the House. That's it.
Now here's interesting something here. In Nevada, the leading candidate, the Democratic Party candidate, Catherine Masto, she has 48.8% of the vote. Adam Laxalt has 48.1% of the vote. So it's like, fractions of a percent that are that are splitting these things. The third vote getter is Monty Brewster's None of the Above.
None of the above?
Yeah. None of these candidates, 1.2%.
Yeah, it's one of those third party guys,
But,
the tree huggers.
Yeah.
Well, they have the third party guys below that.
Freaking hippies.
Oh, wait a minute. Then it's not the tree huggers. It's the
pot smokers.
The pot smokers.
Actually,
actually,
might be the same.
The tree huggers.
The numbers you just pointed out there were from the graphic I shared.
Yeah. The tree huggers came first, and then the tree huggers started smoking the trees, and they became the pot smokers.
Okay.
Yep.
Here's
It
the
makes
other
so
one.
much sense.
Yeah, they're literally killing the trees that they were hugging. How's that working out?
But here's the House numbers. Democrats are at 204, Republicans are at 212. And there's
James, what's your source?
But right now, Fox News, they just updated.
Okay.
It's live.
Yeah, so Fox and CNN are maintaining accuracy, except CNN saying they stole the election, but we have to show you the actual facts.
Ever notice, like, no matter what side wins, they always claim that there is fraud. Like when
Well, the point was, and this is the thing, was like, oh, we cannot vote for those that said the elections were tainted or anything like this in the past election. Hold on, George. And then they bring out this list of 138 people. Well, here's 138 Democrats in 2016, including Hillary Clinton, said that the election was robbed and that this. So you're saying everybody who says that the elections are not legal and elections are not 100% correct should not be trusted? So what about all these Democrats? Well, they shut up. They were like, no, we're not going to go into that. It happens every time.
Yeah, I know. I dictator, think all the elections are fraudulent.
If you want the most up-to-date election news, by the way, you want to head over to the Joe King Adventure Hour at the top of this hour, where the commentary and the satire come together.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when the Democrats were winning, the Republicans were like, oh, it's rigged, and then when Trump won, they're like, oh, Russia's in. It's like, and then that kind of conveniently went away as soon as Biden won.
Well, it's get back to paper ballots and both parties counting the votes, because right now there's video out there, like the video tabulator machines. As soon as the polls were closed, started jumping up by hundreds of numbers. It's like, what's going on? People are recording. It's like, why is my machine moving? I'm not recording anything. Why are there more votes showing up?
Yeah, well, the beauty thing about Arizona is that they actually have paper to back up the votes. So if the digital numbers are off,
on the Senate side of it, even CNN has it at 50 to 49.
Yes, I know. There's only one Senate seat left. Yep. It's the one in Georgia. That's the only one which they're going to do a runoff vote. Which they're going to do a runoff vote on the first Tuesday in December.
And if everybody comes back and votes again that voted the first time, the Libertarian Party will probably be that 1.2% that would make
Walker needs to get over the hump.
Yeah,
exactly.
But it's only Walker, and the Libertarian cannot run because it's only Walker and the guy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That everybody votes again. Yeah. The people who voted for the Libertarian guy.
But the thing about it is again, we need to watch the House. That's the one you got to watch. And there's so many there's still, like I said, I think there's 11 or 12 spots open. We only need 6.
Well, the thing is, and I know one of the big criticisms in, because you guys were saying that Nevada is one of those blue seats in that 50 that we were just talking about. The CNN.
That's the Senate. We're talking about the House.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a big difference between the Senate and the House. Yes, the Senate. Yes, Nevada went to the Senate. Yes, because the candidate they had there didn't do much anything. See, that's the thing, and I'm gonna explain this.
Well, part of it too was he wasn't getting the backup from McConnell. McConnell instead was trying to sit there put a lot of the money in Alaska trying to save Lisa Murkowski.
Well, here's
Chewbacca.
Okay, this is the same thing that happens here in Texas. Okay, you go down and you go vote, you got 8 or 9 spots that there is no Democrat running. Okay, that's the same thing what the Republicans are doing. They're picking and choosing where they want to run, and it comes back to bite them in the butt. And that's what happened with the Republicans. They should have had more people and more money in these spots running for positions, and they didn't do it. It's the same thing with the Democrats in other places.
Yep.
If you don't have people showing up to vote to run, nobody's going to vote for you. Okay, I don't care if you have Beto O'Rourke. Okay, and I'm going to talk about him too. He's tried 3 times. 3 times he's lost. It's time to get rid of him. Leave him.
No. He's a pretty boy. They need the pretty boy. He's a perfect puppet.
Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about, James?
Beto O'Rourke.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
His real name is Frederick Davis O'Rourke. He's not even Hispanic.
Yeah, he's Irish.
Yep.
On his father's side, twice removed.
I'm like, dude, give me a break. But it's real
He's the leading fake Hispanic.
I have an elegant solution to our election problems. Want to hear it?
Republicans did underperform. This should have been a red wave.
No,
it is
a red ripple.
It is a red wave. They just been slow. Counting the numbers.
It wasn't. No, a red wave would have given us 60 votes in the Senate and 200 and something votes in the House.
I know. But guys, it is a red wave. It took an extraordinary effort to cheat in this election, in front of everybody.
Right.
And tell us that it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Well, I know because one of the guys I follow from a political aspect is Red Eagle Politics. He gave some pretty good analysis. Now he was originally stating that the Democrats going to take control of the Senate 53 to 47. That's what it was looking like it was going to do, and then we're going to have like 240 plus seats in the House. But when he talked about how we underperformed and why we underperformed is particularly because the red wave did happen, as you said, George. It did happen in parts of the country. It happened in Florida. It happened in New York. It happened even here in California.
What? Did you see what happened in Florida? They had election corruption police and all that stuff. They made sure the election
there
was
were a couple of seats down there that flipped as well. But what was really happening was it wasn't hitting the Midwest, and a lot of what they were saying was because a lot of these candidates, part of the reason why Oz lost, for example, he wasn't connecting with the Trump voters.
Mike, Philadelphia is not the Midwest.
Yeah, but Western Pennsylvania is.
That's still not the Midwest.
But West Washington is.
That's the Northeast.
Like
the whole Northeast corridor has always been strong Republican. Strong Democrat. It's hard to win up there.
See you tomorrow, RJ. I got to go take care of something.
I'll see. You know what? We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. Our guests are leaving. Tim, we'll see you tomorrow here to talk about Melvin #2. Give you the whole hour. You can give us your fix on the elections. On how to take care of the process. You didn't get to put your idea out there. If you,
I think each candidate should have to outrun a giant fireball, and the person that survives is elected.
Yes, I love it. They put them in a chess match with no seconds.
Gladiatorial battle.
I wasn't necessarily planning on getting into a political discussion, but we ended up doing that anyways.
Yeah, well, that's why it's open topic. Anyway, guys. We're just going to close it off. Thanks for showing up tonight and having some lively debate and discussion about anything and everything. That's what it's here for. Folks in the chat, thank you for being here. We don't have a show without you, and we're glad to have you. And, of course, while you were here, as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Peace out.